We are here now for Sam Roberts Now on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sam Roberts Now. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that little button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. You can also follow us across all forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Sam Roberts Now, and you'll be able to get notified each and every time we go live from this here Not Sam studio, the beautiful, the gorgeous, the vivacious Not Sam studio. Thanks, everybody, for being here on a Saturday. I already see the chats coming in. Feel free to participate in the show if you'd like to. I'll read it at some points not. It would probably do me a lot of good to just not read it at all. But I'm still going to include it. I think it's important. I think it's a good thing. So a lot of stuff is going on, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But first, in radio, there's only a handful of people that anybody really ever mentions with any sort of reverence. And Art Bell is not really one of them unless you knew who he was. Not enough people knew who Art Bell was. That's the torture of being the nighttime DJ. When you're an overnight nighttime DJ, you end up with this kind of amazing, loyal fan base, really because for whatever reason, they're up all night, you're there with them live, and they can appreciate that. There's nothing else there. There's nobody else awake with them. Nothing's going on. And so you end up getting attached to this radio DJ that's up all night with you, especially when you're Art Bell, and you're talking about all kinds of weird stuff, because there's no reason for you to stay up all night unless you're trying to think about aliens, conspiracy theories, ghosts, supernatural, all those things. The things that exist beyond our regular consciousness. Anybody that just believes that the world is as it seems, and what's presented to us is reality. Reality is what I can touch. Whatever's directly in front of me is exactly as it seems. Those are the types of people that end up going to sleep early, waking up after 8 hours, and living a restful existence. The people who are sitting there, sure that they're either being lied to or that just nobody really knows what's going on and trying to figure stuff out, those are the people that end up staying up all night. And so, when you find somebody on the radio that is exploring the same things going on in your, a lot of times, drug-induced head, in my case, not so much drug-induced, but still, in your whatever crazy head, you end up attaching yourself to them. But what happens is the people that know you. Your loyal audience knows exactly who you are. They're with you every night. They love you. Everybody else in the world has no clue because quote unquote normal people are sleeping at night. They're not listening to the radio. It's the wackadoos. It's the not Samsonites of the world. They're going to have your back. The problem is, when it comes time to remember you, not enough people do. In my opinion, not enough people that should remember you do. We found out, I think, either last night or this morning, I read about it this morning, that Art Bell had passed away. He was in his mid-80s. I think he was 86 or something like that. I don't know for sure. But Art Bell was this amazing radio talk show host that would go on in the middle of the night and talk for like 5 hours. Trust me when I tell you, when I found out that when I was doing my solo show, when I was doing Sam Roberts' show on SiriusXM, that show started being on at noon. And it was a little weird. Noon is a little bit of a weird time slot, but there's plenty of people listening. So it's just weird in the sense that for your own body clock, because you can't really wake up late, but you don't really have to wake up early, and it's right in the middle of lunchtime. It's just an odd thing. But when you're on a platform like Sirius, noon is actually 9 a.m. in the West, so it's, it's just, for your day-to-day life, it just takes some getting used to. But I really didn't have a chance to get used to it, because within 3 months of doing it at noon, I was moved to nights, and I was given, I think, a week's notice. Something like a week's notice after 3 months of trying to establish an audience at noon. They go, hey, Sam, like, just so you know, not like, hey, what do you think? They tried to pitch it to me like it was this great no-brainer. Oh, good news, man. We're giving you an extra hour. It's from 11 p.m. to midnight. What? They were moving me to 9 o'clock at night, which I go, okay, that's going to be difficult to establish a new audience and everything. And I ended up getting on the phone with Kevin Undergaro, the godfather of the Not Samsonites. He's the one who first made the point and really made it clear to me. He was like, no, Sam, nights is the best place for you to be. Think about Art Bell. Do you know who Art Bell is? And I go, yeah, I do know who Art Bell is. When I was driving in to produce the morning show for Opie and Anthony, I would leave the house at like 3:45, sometimes 3:30 in the morning, depending on, what era, because there was times where I had to be in the office at 4:30 in the morning, if not before. So it would still basically be the night when I was driving into work from Westchester. And every morning, I would catch the tail end of Art Bell's show because it was streaming or whatever, simulcasting on SiriusXM. And then eventually somebody else took over for Art Bell doing the same show, but I guess Art Bell wasn't healthy enough to do it every night anymore. But I would listen to this Art Bell show, and he would sit there and he'd have no guests in studio. The phone lines were on. He'd have one guest on the phone that was like some kind of crazy author or theorist or whatever it was. And whether he was talking about, physics and string theory, or whether he was talking about aliens being out there or supernatural experiences or ghosts or government cover-ups or whatever it is, he would sit there and he would have this almost melodic delivery. It was slow, it was pacing, and it was always interesting. There was always something, no matter what Art Bell said. Even if he wasn't saying anything, you were always listening to him, trying to figure out, I got to stay tuned because something's coming. What's next? Oh, but what's next? There was no part of him, and that's why I love it. And I a lot of what I do is more like that, like old school, as opposed to this new school, which is make it quick, make it snappy. I don't think you have to make it quick and snappy, because I would listen to Art Bell, and nothing about him fit into this sort of quick cut, give your take, move on to the next topic, give your take, move on to the next topic. It was this slow kind of weaving storytelling that you would listen for like an hour and a half. And you would end up in this place that you have no idea how you got there based on the beginning of the conversation, but you had been enthralled the whole time. You couldn't even figure out what you had been doing in the middle. What the hell was I listening to? What did I learn? Maybe nothing. But you were enthralled the whole time. The whole time you were on board. And that's what was so good about it. Plus, he was talking about all kinds of weird stuff that I would get out of my car, and then it would be like legit morning and ready to actually produce a morning show where you're supposed to be talking about mainstream stuff. What's going on in the news, what's going on in pop culture, giving your takes on things. It's people that actually have a real life, that sleep at night, they wake up in the morning, they want to hear this stuff. And in my head, I'm going, why aren't we talking about Area 51? Why aren't we talking about the fact that there have been reports of alien abductions for decades? Because I had Art Bell in my head. Because I had him. And that's what, and Kevin Undergaro, he said that to me. He was like, think about Art Bell. People need somebody at night to talk to. You need somebody at night, Sam, to talk to. Talk to them. And I go, this is it. This is perfect. And I believe that the relationship that I set up with the people that listen to that night show, and so many of you that are still listening on YouTube, the ability to connect, I think, came from Art Bell, because I never called into Art Bell's show. I never reached out. I never contacted him. No one-on-one conversation ever. But on some level, I felt connected with him because the two of us were awake, and the two of us were thinking on this weird, strange level about what's really going on, what's just below the surface. So I did want to send a shout out to Art Bell today. See, I already see Not Sam Fan Cuddly Bear, R.I.P. Art Bell. All these people who were listening to Sam Roberts Show also were the same people that would listen to Art Bell because he was there for you. And I think that's it's a dying medium. You know, because I've sat there and I've romanticized this idea. Like, I've thought about, what if I did a YouTube show? What if this show was live at like 2 o'clock in the morning? And so we could just, because I used to love that, especially in that like 11 p.m. to midnight hour, when it didn't matter. You could just get into weird stuff. Nobody was paying attention anymore. It was just about you and the listeners, and, you know, you could just... if somebody called in to talk about D.B. Cooper, I could sit there on the phone with them for 45 minutes and just bust his balls about D.B. Cooper. No, it's the 11 o'clock hour. It's 11 o'clock at night. This is what people want. Weirdness. So I thought to myself, what if I did that on YouTube? What if I came on like in the middle of the night and did this live show? And the problem is, and this is the one thing that's great about radio, is that in theory, radio exists somewhat in a vacuum, less and less these days. But in terms of the live show, it exists in this vacuum. Whereas on YouTube, it'd be crazy because I'd be doing this stuff thinking like, oh, this is just for us night owls. And the people that sleep would just wake up the next morning, see a new video on the YouTube channel, and just watch whenever. That's why I do Sam Roberts Now. That's why we're not on any specific schedule. Because if you watch live with us, you watch live, great. And if not, it just pops up on the YouTube channel. You watch whenever you want. So I like that entertainment is there, in the sense that we can create content, we can go long form, we can do whatever we want, and we don't even have to worry about, because, you know, you can podcast, and you put the podcast out a certain time all the time, but whenever, throughout the week, people are just going to listen at their convenience, and people are going to watch Sam Roberts Now at their convenience, and people should, and that's what this whole thing should be. But I think that a lot of what Art Bell brought to the table dies with Art Bell. So I just thought we should talk a little bit about Art Bell at the beginning of this thing, because not that many people are. Instead, I go on Twitter and I'm like, oh, because I saw Art Bell was trending on Twitter for a little bit this morning. And I was happy about it because, you know, not that many people, especially this generation, staying up all night, you know. I mean, I guess we're doing it, right? Because I guess nowadays, if you're going to stay up all night, what are you going to do? Surf through YouTube videos. So I could sleep restfully. I could jump on here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and just do some weird conspiracy theory stuff and just put it up on the channel and watch those views go up late at night. So I guess we're doing it because that's what people do when they can't sleep, is they watch YouTube videos. So welcome, you know, this is it. But there's just something about that connection of knowing that other person is right there. Yep, no, we're up. No, I'm talking to you. I'm doing this right now. Right now. So, I see Vane Veen in the chat says, become a flat earther, Sam. I'm not a flat earther, but if I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I got the radio on and there's just some guy with this voice and he's Art Bell, and, you know, a lot of people, they think that the earth is round. Well, we've got compelling evidence on the show that it says otherwise. And I'm going like, I'm on board. Tell me more, Art. Tell me more. Is it a triangle? It's flat. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. I'm not sitting there double checking this guy's work. I don't know, Art. You know, really, the earth is clearly... No, I'm just there to listen. Art Bell, I'm in school. I am a passive listener, waiting to be educated. That's why I'm there. You know, maybe, here's the thing. Here's what happened. There is this audience for Art Bell, and I feel like a lot of the Art Bell audience has shifted over to guys like Alex Jones, who in the beginning was okay, but a guy like Alex Jones is almost too smart for his own good. So Alex Jones kind of took the Art Bell model and just made a monster out of it. Just realized, wait a minute. Yeah, we could connect with these people. Yeah, we could find people that are not trusting of what's being told to them and connect with them one-on-one. But we could also make a ton of dough off of it. What if we find the really crazy people who aren't sleeping at all? And so that sort of paranoia that exists late at night is just seeping in to their everyday life. And what if we created a network that was just on all the time? InfoWars, baby. Alex Jones is kind of the extreme Art Bell, you would sit there and you'd be like, oh man, that's crazy. That's some crazy stuff. Alex Jones is like, yeah, let's get him. The government is lying to us. They want what's ours. They want to destroy our rights. No, not on my watch. And you get all mad. You get all charged up. Yeah, let's do this. Not with Art Bell. Alex Jones, that's his deal, though. Alex Jones is an emotional guy. He pulls on our heartstrings. He gets us going. Now, there is this thing where every time anything ever happens, there's some kind of article about how, it could be a false flag. It's probably not real, which is not, you can't do that for every single thing. The only way that I feel like the Alex Jones model works in a real way, I guess who am I to say? Clearly the Alex Jones model works because Alex Jones is making a ton of money. But I just feel like at some point, you have to be like, okay, no, this one's legit. No, this one's legit. No, this one's legit. Let's take a closer look at that. If he did that, then, guys, I would be involved. And I think guys like me would go I don't know. Usually, Alex Jones is a pretty straight shooter. That's what Alex Jones has a clear point of view. He's a pretty straight shooter. But I love when he gets emotional. Alex Jones has been a big Trump supporter from the beginning of the Trump campaign. And he was one of the people who said that Trump was going to win. Now, what happened with Alex Jones? The Trump presidency has done a pretty remarkable thing because, and I believe it's mainstream media's fault. Mainstream media, for the most part, was saying, especially at the end of that election, the end of the election campaign season, that Donald doesn't really have a chance, that Trump has no chance. Clearly, Hillary Clinton is going to win. America is coming to its senses. We were all having fun before. But clearly, Donald Trump is not going to be the president. Clearly, Donald Trump is going to win this thing. He's not going to win this thing. Clearly, Hillary Clinton is going to win this thing. And it was guys like Alex Jones that were like, don't believe the mainstream media. Don't believe them. Alex Jones said, don't believe the mainstream media about literally everything the mainstream media has ever said. But the mainstream media started falling into the trap of guys like Alex Jones, where they would say things that weren't true. And they would show bias towards specific candidates, especially in this Trump thing. Say what you want. You don't have to be a Trump supporter, but you have to be able to see that there is a bias against the guy. He is treated like a schmuck in the media. And even if you think he is a schmuck, that's fine. You can't have your opinion echoed by a news anchor. Once a news anchor is like, no, you're right, the guy is a schmuck, then I think you might be twisting your facts when you give them to me. And what happens when mainstream media starts to show themselves a little bit and show some vulnerabilities is it adds credibility to a guy like Alex Jones. All of a sudden, Alex Jones comes across like a genius because he figured this thing out. Because he was the one, when mainstream media was sitting there saying, there's no way Trump's going to win, Alex Jones was the one the whole time saying, no, he is going to win and mainstream media is lying to you. And I would sit there going like, oh, Alex Jones, you always think the mainstream media is lying to us. Then Trump wins. And you go, what? The polls were wrong? But I heard all about these polls. I heard the polls. And Alex Jones goes, yeah, those are biased polls. They're not right. They're not real. And you go, oh my God, Alex Jones was right this whole time. And what happens is this whole wave of support comes Alex Jones's way. And CNN and MSNBC and even Fox News can sit there and pretend to be confused about what's going on and go like, oh, I don't understand. All these people. And Hillary Clinton goes on TV and she goes, yeah, well, all those people are racists. No, they're not. They're disenfranchised. Some of them are racists, I'm sure. But for the most part, the people who start supporting Trump, even though he says controversial things, and the people who start going to Alex Jones and spots like that for information are disenfranchised people because they, on some level, believed that mainstream news and the political system as we know it were not as deeply flawed as they clearly are. Now, that's not to say that everything else is perfect and that Alex Jones is not flawed and Donald Trump is not flawed, but but their flaws are on the surface. The first thing you learn about InfoWars and the first thing you learn about Donald Trump are the flaws. It is put out there front and center. Then if you dig through a little bit, you might be able to find something that's redeemable. With all this other stuff, with politicians as we've known it, they hide the flaws and hide the flaws and hide the flaws so that one little thing comes out and it opens up Pandora's box and all of a sudden we go, I can't believe it. We were lied to. Right? And that's an issue. That's why they say you shouldn't throw stones if you live in glass houses. That's the issue there is that you've now lost credibility in the people that were telling you that they weren't flawed. And the people that were flawed, they might be flawed, but at least they're credible because they didn't lie about it. So that, I think, is what has really helped people like Alex Jones and even like guys like Milo Yiannopoulos and those guys. Alex Jones more because he's got this foundation of stuff. He's been doing this for so many years. But what helps them is the people around them losing their credibility because it lends to their critics' credibility, which is guys like Alex Jones. So Alex Jones has been a supporter of Trump since the beginning. Trump wins, and Alex Jones is on board with him the whole time, which is weird to me because the whole premise of InfoWars and Alex Jones is to expose the lies and the bias and not take the government side, but take the people's side. So it's very, very odd to be living in a time when a president is supported by what is supposed to be at least one side of the counterculture. The president himself becomes the counterculture because the resistance is the mainstream. That's what we're living in right now. That's why 2018 is so crazy, because the resistance is mainstream and supporting the president is counterculture. And so all these kids, all that watch, like, you know, documentaries about the 60s and the civil rights movement and watch all this stuff get done, they all get confused because they're criticizing their government and they're just falling right in line with all these adults because criticizing the government is no longer the counterculture. It's the mainstream until maybe now, because Alex Jones has drawn a line in the sand. Alex Jones, last night, as at the time of this live broadcast, we put down missile attacks on Syria, which is confusing to me. I mean, and the problem is that you criticize the attacks on Syria, and people go like, oh, what, are you like gassing kids? And you go, no. I'm talking about whether or not America should have gotten involved with that. I'm not talking about whether or not Syria and the people who gassed the kids deserve to have bombs thrown at them. I'm going to take this stance. If you put chemicals into kids' lungs that kill them, even not kids, if you put chemicals into the lungs of innocent adults, if they're innocent and they're adults, and you put chemical in their lungs for no reason, and you're a government, I'm not in support of you. Not even a little bit. Especially if you do it to kids. If you do it to kids, we have a problem. But the question is, on a global level, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? You know, to what interest does this serve on a long-term level? Short-term, micro, I'm totally with it. Short-term thinking, simplistic thinking, if you're telling me, hey, those guys gas kids, do you want to bomb them? Yes. Yes, I do. But long-term, it's like, okay, well, this is a country. This is an act of aggression. You haven't gone to Congress for their approval on it. You're just doing it. There's all these things. It's going to cost a ton of money. It could get us involved in far more military action. Why are you doing this now? Well, okay. That's a bigger conversation. And we got France and England by our sides. And that's terrific because for the first time, I am not going to be ordering freedom fries. I am back to ordering French fries as of today because France was on the side of America in the strikes against Syria. I'm not saying I support the strikes against Syria. I'm just saying I support the fact that the French are our friends. Again, it's important. Yeah, and I mean, Brian on the comments right there says it very clearly. Don't get involved in civil wars. That's a big thing, isn't it? That's a big conversation to have. Why get involved in a civil war? Well, because they're doing horrible things over there and somebody needs to help those people. Yeah. Now we've got, Russia talking about retaliation and things like that, and that Trump should be careful what he's doing. And it's like, we just settled things with North Korea. I thought Trump was colluding with Russia. Now we've got problems with Russia, and it's way too... the timing is too perfect. When they're like, okay, we're going to investigate whether you're colluding with Russia or not. And he's like, well, if I was colluding with Russia, would I have bombed Syria? Russia supports Syria. Would I have done that if I was colluding? And they're like, yeah, to throw us off. What? No, I wouldn't have done that. But regardless, I don't like the idea of America getting involved with any of this stuff. I don't think America should get involved with anything unless we absolutely have to. Same in country or out of country. I don't think our military should do anything to any other country unless we absolutely have to, unless the American people are in danger. Are we the world police? Yes. But I don't think the police should be have to do anything in America unless they absolutely have to. And that's because the police end up getting weighed down with a whole bunch of nonsense that shouldn't be a police matter. And then you end up boycotting Starbucks. We'll talk about that. But, I just don't think America should get involved with stuff unless we absolutely have to. And I don't know enough about this Syria stuff. I'm a big dummy. I don't know enough about it. It just seems to me that I have not been shown compelling evidence that this is why America should get involved. Besides, morally, it's the right thing to do. Okay, it is the right thing to do. Okay, we should help people. Okay, but why get involved in a civil war if we don't have to? We're really... everything we did in the Middle East was a complete debacle and a horrible mess. And then, as if to just rub our noses in it, because let's be honest, even though this isn't officially a declaration of war, we're not starting a war, okay? This is strikes and we're done and it's over. It's just to say don't do that again, okay? So this is not a thing where we're going to war with a country. But the minute that we sit there and we go and we look at a missile strike happening on a country, and let's be honest, most of us Americans, we don't know everything about world politics. I think there are more people like me out there than there are experts. Most of us watching TV last night are going, wait, why are we bombing Syria? Was there an attack here? You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there like Googling, trying to find out if there was an attack in America. You realize there wasn't, and you go, why are we doing this? And you start to get those feelings that you got when we watched Iraq being bombed in whatever that was, I guess 2002, maybe 2003, I don't remember. And there was a little bit more support for that because it was an actual war and we thought there were weapons of mass destruction and all this stuff was happening, but we know what a complete clusterfuck that turned into. We know how bad that was. So when we watch now, I think a lot of people are going like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this again? This worked out so poorly when Bush did it. And then, as if just to rub our noses in it, President Trump tweets out a thing today that says mission accomplished on it. Mission accomplished is your choice of wording. I understand what you're trying to say is, look, we bombed 3 targets. One of them was a chemicals manufacturing place. It was 3 specific targets to send the message to not do this anymore. Okay, that's cool, and we're done with that, and we're not doing it anymore, and no more strikes, just those 3 to specifically send the message, we're watching you, don't do this, we're going to make your life difficult if you do. Okay, that I understand. And we're not sending any more strikes. Okay, that makes me feel better. Not sending any more strikes. Mission accomplished. That makes me feel much worse. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? The last president to say mission accomplished was George W. Bush. When he was standing on that aircraft carrier with that ridiculous banner behind him, the guy looked badass as hell, in my opinion, flying down that jet on his own. That was awesome. But history has shown him standing in front of that banner that said mission accomplished, and then we're stuck in a war for another decade that none of us know why we're there, and it's just hemorrhaging money. The United States just hemorrhaging money to keep this thing going. We all know that was the wrong thing to do. So it's almost like Trump is like, I see you're all concerned about this. I want you to know I'm the president and I'm going to do whatever I want. Mission accomplished. That's what I think it is. I think it's these little subtle jabs. Mission accomplished. We got you. We got you. But I bring this all up to say that there was one great thing about the strikes of Syria. And I hope no good people were hurt in that. I hope if anybody was hurt in the Syrian missile strike, I hope it was all just bad people. I hope no good people were hurt. But there was one thing to come out of that Syrian attack last night, and this is what it was. I want to share it with you. This clip right here.
If you just turn against Trump, things will be better. But he was doing good, and that's what makes it so bad. Oh, and that's what makes it so bad. If he'd have been a piece of crap from the beginning, it wouldn't be so bad. But we made so many sacrifices, and now he's crapping all over us. It makes me sick.
So you think it's over for Trump? I mean, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
It doesn't get better. It simply doesn't get better than that clip. I mean, the high school drama club crying of Alex Jones. That's what I got to do more of on this show. I was on his side from the beginning, and he's full of crap. He's full of crap. I just don't understand. Maybe I should start doing that more on my wrestling podcast. Like, I really thought that Roman Reigns was going to beat Brock Lesnar. But then when Brock Lesnar, when he started throwing those elbows, he's throwing those elbows, and Roman, he got up, and I thought he was going to win. And he looked so strong, but he just F5'd him again. He F5'd him again. And he was able to beat him then. And then the co-host pops in, and he goes, "So what should we do then?" The co-host just sits there awkwardly like, okay, my whole gig here is I'm Alex Jones's co-host. Stuff like this is going to happen. Yeah. So, bad stuff, huh? Bad stuff. Like, why can't he have some of that emotion? I feel like if Alex Jones is going to be sitting there responsible for all that emotion, all that output, all that crying, and that soul leaking, just the soul leaking out of Alex Jones. I feel like if that's going to happen, then his co-host should be responsible for some emotional output. I mean, that guy in the suit was just sitting there with his buzz cut. Maybe it's not his co-host. Maybe he was a guest or something, and he was just booked on the wrong show. He's just like, I'm just here to promote my book on the JFK assassination. I didn't realize we were going to be crying about Trump. I mean, it is a big deal that Alex Jones kind of turns on Trump. Although I don't know how far he's turning on him, because maybe this is Alex Jones' way of getting out of the government thing, of being in bed with the government. Because already today he's got an article up that some politician says that the Syrian attacks were fake, that the Syrian attacks were not real. The attacks that we saw were faked. It's a false flag for something else. So that's already there. Maybe we just need to get back to business. Maybe Alex Jones feels like he's being shown too much as one of these Trump supporters, and instead needs to get back to being Alex Jones, which is just, trying to figure out what those fat cats in Washington are up to at all points. Maybe this is the moment that Alex Jones, because everything that Alex Jones does is calculated. I mean, he's a businessman. Maybe this is the moment where Jones goes, okay, I need to really show some emotion, and I need to get myself off the Trump bandwagon, and I need all my followers to come with me, because that's the issue here, right? All of Alex Jones has given all of his followers to Trump. So Alex Jones wants to get off the Trump bandwagon. What's he going to do? I guess cry. Maybe that's what the meeting was. Maybe somebody were like, I don't know, Alex, what are you going to do? Cry about it? Eureka. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Boys, turn the cameras on. Rolling. Why did he do this to us? Why? I don't know. I'm excited. Cody Williams is calling it a face turn. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is an Alex Jones face turn where he is now, because imagine how great that would be. Mainstream media is still going to be like, oh, Russia collusion. Let's impeach Trump. Let's blah, boring stuff. Maybe Alex Jones is going to start exposing the what's it called? The secrets in the Trump White House. I want to see that. I want to see what's going on. Like what's the Trump government faking? And for what reason? Because you can make up anything with the Trump government. I mean, people have already. You got the one guy who wrote that book that, I mean, you know, said all kinds of wild stuff. You got this guy from the FBI, Comey. He's putting out a book where half the book is saying that Trump was trying to get Comey to tell his wife, Trump's wife, Melania, that the Russian prostitute piss tape was not real. You know, it'd be really helpful if you could investigate that and let Melania know, you know, because she's kind of on my case. People can say whatever they want. Imagine the conspiracy theories that you could make up around the Trump White House. Maybe that's where the Alex Jones business is going. I don't know. Todd Green says, I don't mean to be transphobic, but Alex Jones has lost his balls. I don't think so. I think Alex Jones still has balls. It's crazy. Lost his mind. But it's tough to say Alex Jones doesn't have balls. You know, I honestly, it is balls to go against your base. You build your base up to support Trump, and then you announce that we're fighting a different battle. That's balls. Trump's platform for 2020 is golden showers for everybody. I didn't realize that was. I did not realize. Alex is still balls deep with Roger Stones. With Roger Stone. I doubt he's totally off the Trump train. Look, Alex Jones did say that Trump was full of crap. So, all right. I see somebody is saying, Sam, what Jordans are you rocking today? It's time for a Sam Roberts sneaker update. Sam Roberts sneaker update. I don't have music, but I have a graphic. Yeah, it's time for this thing. Yeah, Sam Roberts sneaker update. Here it is, okay? It's a big sneaker day today, big sneaker release. The Jordan 1 Shadows came out today. Black and gray, originally released in 1985, one of the original Jordan 1 colorways. Last release, I believe, was somewhere around 2013. They came out today, and ladies and gentlemen, today, that's what I'm wearing. Came through, local store by me had them. It's the Jordan 1 Shadows. I tell you, I am obsessed with these things. And nothing, Saturdays have either become a joyous occasion or a time that I just want to destroy everyone and everything around me. And it's all based on these sneaker apps. As much as I talk about sneakers, as many sneakers as I buy, you would think that people would know about it, okay? So these are the Jordan 1 Shadows. This is what I'm wearing today. These came out today. They're the retro re-releases. They're amazing. They're one of the best Jordan 1 releases in a long time. Leather is super soft. You know, it's just they look great. I love these things. I'm going to wear them a lot, and I do have a second pair coming. So don't worry about that. These are today. WrestleMania weekend, it was all about the Jordan 3 Tinker Hatfields. These are great because Tinker was the guy who originally designed the Jordan 3 in 1988, right? In 1988, Jordan was about to leave Nike and I think go to Adidas. And Nike had one shot to keep Jordan around, and they hired this designer named Tinker, and he puts together the Jordan 3. Now, the Jordan 3 didn't originally look like this. There was no swoosh. The word Nike is written there now. It wasn't written there before. This shoe is based on Tinker's original sketch of what the Jordan 3 was going to look like with the swoosh and the Nike and stuff. MJ was like, I don't want any of that stuff. And really, the Jordan 3 is what brought the Jordan brand to the place it's in now. If that Jordan 3 had never come out, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about these today. And that would be a shame, wouldn't it? But, and I also, Yeezys came out with a new shoe today. All kinds of stuff was coming out today. But it really is amazing because thank God I know a guy locally who works in a shoe store. And I have to know a guy to buy them, okay? Because this morning, and Chris the teacher helped me out. Wait till you hear this. This morning, I go on the app, the Nike app. First of all, I reserved them. I tried to reserve them. I put myself on the reserve list at 3 Foot Lockers, I think 2 Foot Actions, a couple of Champ Sports, all over the place. 7, 3, 2, and 2, right. 3 Foot Lockers, 2 Foot Actions, 2 Champ Sports. All 7 came back saying, well, try again next time. 7 stores, and I couldn't make a reservation. What is this, Dorsia? Then I get onto the Nike app, the sneakers app, and I try to buy them this morning when they came out at 10 a.m. I had me doing it, and my wife, Jess, she was on an app too. Both trying to buy the things. Neither one of us successful. Neither one of us. So 2 attempts, 7 reservations, none of them worked. Thank God I know a guy who did that. And then Chris the teacher hit me up and he was like, hey, I won these on the app. You want them? I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So Chris the teacher, one of the great Not Samsonites, came through and hooked that up. But it will just... If I didn't have that going on, if I was just sitting there losing on apps, because I buy all these shoes, I talk about these shoes, and somehow all I do is miss out on reservations. It's insane. Insane. Dingus Khan says, are you ever gonna have your wife on? On what? You know what I'm saying? On the show? Probably not. No, you guys are savages. I don't want to expose her to that. Brian Stormont says, wearing sneakers gives you athlete's foot. Got to have something on me that's athletic. Chris the teacher for the win says, not Sam Dapper Dan. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. 100%. And I actually believe I have a third pair coming from a friend who has a friend who works in a store too. So I have tiers, right, that I have to figure all this stuff out on. I really want to just do it by the book. But I have a couple guys I know who work in stores that help. I try to reserve them on all the shoe websites. Try to get them on the Nike app. I have a handful of people online that go shopping day of, and they try to pick me up one. And then I have a second tier of people that if I don't get them on release day, I start reaching out and figuring out who has them. All these steps have to be taken. Sometimes you end up with 3 pairs by mistake, like today. Sometimes you end up with none. It's just a crazy, ridiculous hobby. And I don't know. Look, but I have a good history with hobbies. You know, just coming off of WrestleMania, of course, my WrestleMania weekend for a lot of you was characterized by 2 things. One was me saying action on television. It says, see, this is what Cody is saying. You need to get that Nike deal. First WWE, now the world. Yeah, man. Yes, of course. And Todd says, what does Chris the teacher do for a living? What do you think Chris the teacher does for a living? I hope for your sake you're being sarcastic. Because otherwise, you're coming across as stupid right now. Either way, actually. Either way. So, for a lot of people who were watching me at WrestleMania, the experience was brought together by 2 things. Me saying action at an awkward time on television in what was the worst televised Sam Roberts moment in the history of televised Sam Roberts moment. I mean, when I say it was embarrassing, I wanted to take a jackhammer in the middle of the Superdome so I could create a hole because it's concrete. Take a jackhammer, make a hole so I could jump into it and hope that the hole was deep enough that I would hit the hot magma center of the earth and burn to death. That was the only hope that I had in that moment. Unfortunately, none of that happened, so I said the only upside is we'll get to laugh about this for a long, long time. And a lot of laughs have been had at my expense. And by the way, more power to you. Keep them coming, because every single laugh that's had at my expense, I've absolutely asked for. So keep them coming. And I deserve all of them. It's one of those things where you watch it back and you go, oh, maybe it won't be so bad when I watch it back. Worse. Actually worse when I watched it back. So at no point will I justify it in any way, shape, or form. At no point will I try to blame anybody else. At no point will I tell you to, hey, lay off, This is my dream. I'm making my dream come true. I am making my dream come true. I am creating something out of nothing. I do deserve some credit for being self-made around this whole thing. But I also screwed that up terribly, and you should make fun of me for it. And props to Jim Cornette, because it really made me smile how hard he laughed at my failure. Because that's what it was. An absolute failure. But the other thing that I was known for on the internet was this photo that kind of went everywhere. The Lonely Sam photo, again, something I've asked for. Now, that's not exactly an autograph signing, but trust me, the amount of time that I spent talking about Lonely Virgil and all of that, anytime you guys see me, and the guy that actually was able to get that photo, the guy that saw me sitting by myself and framed it so perfectly and made the whole, you could see the whole section of seats just empty around me. Awesome. People were texting me that all weekend as well. And I would love to talk to the guy that got that shot, because he acted quickly, he acted correctly, he got the job done. So major props to that guy. It says, Walter says, Bruce Pritchard is hosting a podcast on WWE Network. What are your thoughts? Love it. Can't wait to watch it. I actually saw that was announced at that Hall of Fame ceremony where I was sitting by myself. I saw that was announced. I found Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson sitting in the audience, and I grabbed him and just gave him a massive hug, because I just think it's such a big step forward for guys like us. I put myself in their category, who, regardless of where you come from, are now creating content. We are content creators that are just kind of making it up as we go along and figuring out where we fit in this new world of media, and I just love that they're being accepted like that. I just think it's good news for everybody, and I think the show's going to be great. So it makes me very, very excited to see stuff like that happen. But there was one failure WrestleMania weekend that wasn't documented, that wasn't part of the conversation. And that's because there weren't people around. This just happened to me. I bought a hoodie at the WrestleMania store. I went to the WrestleMania store right after Radio Row, and I bought a whole ton of stuff. And one thing that I bought was a hoodie, and I went to put it on. I bought the WrestleMania hoodie. Rest of the weekend, that was Friday afternoon after Radio Row. Friday afternoon into Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, I was in suits and tuxedos nonstop for the pre-shows. So Monday, I get up to go to the airport. Before I go to the airport, I'm going to have lunch with X-Pac and Ron Funches and Maria Menounos. Somebody pick up all those names that I just dropped. And so I put on my WrestleMania hoodie only to discover that another colossal failure had happened. But this is a problem that I solved, and I documented it for all of you, and I thought you might enjoy the process. So here it is. I went to WrestleMania, and I got this great hoodie. I went to the WrestleMania store. It's this big store in the middle of a convention hall. It's got everything you could want. That's where I bought the hoodie from. Monday, I packed my bags. I put my hoodie on because I say I'm going to wear this thing on the plane. Unfortunately, one of those store security tags that sets the alarm off was still attached to the bottom of the hoodie. And the WrestleMania store had closed, a day before that. I, being a person who does not like to leave the house, took the hoodie home and immediately went on YouTube to figure out how one gets a store tag off of a shirt. I saw a YouTube video where a lady like burned the top of it and then cut off the spring and did all, not for me, too many steps. I found another YouTube video where a guy took 2 forks, jammed them in, and popped the thing open. So that's what I decided to try. Let me do it on this side. Did you hear that?
Yeah, can you do it in the garage or something?
No, it's over the sink. What am I, an animal? If this works, I'm going to the mall and I'm bringing forks. The guy on YouTube had a really easy time with this.
Yeah, I really can't.
I know. You married a dangerous man.
We just bought this house.
You think the house is gonna come down?
I think it's going to become blue.
How could there be that much ink?
Have you never seen one of these go off, babe?
No, I have not. I didn't actually, until yesterday, I didn't even know there were ink in them. He's so worried about
This blinding us, going off all over the house.
I don't think it sprays.
It sprays.
How do you know?
Have you never seen a cartoon?
I've seen cartoons.
Oh my gosh, I really don't like this.
It sprays?
Yes.
I didn't know there was ink in them.
Yeah, you gotta take it into the garage. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Jess doesn't have any faith in me. Is it poisonous? She said she doesn't know. Just the forks. Jesus Christ, I'm ripping it. Look at this hole I made already. Look at that. Ink intact. Oh my God. Tag gone. 2 forks and a graceless human being. This is how Tom Hanks felt in Castaway. I have made fire. I'm really worried I'm going to drop this and ink is going to go everywhere. You have no idea how good I felt about myself after that happened. The confidence that I walked back into the kitchen with after Jess had thrown me out into the garage thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get this done. I saw this YouTube video where they put the forks in opposite and they pried and pried and pried. And that store tag is off the shirt. Now, I will tell you, the honest truth about it is that whole video that was just like whatever, 4 minutes or so, that took about 25 minutes. I mean, I was there for a long time, but I was not quitting. I absolutely would not quit. After I'd made the commitment to do it, plus I didn't want to have wasted the money on a hoodie, but I would not quit, and I didn't quit, and I got that tag off. It wasn't fast. It wasn't fast at all. But I got the tag off. A life hack brought to you by the last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts. Yes, you're welcome. I don't think that you could use that in a store. If you brought that attempt to the mall, you'd have to sit into a changing room for half the day. The hours that you would spend trying to remove that tag would not equal out the merchandise you were trying to grab. But should that ever happen in your house, in hindsight, I probably should have just figured out a buddy that worked at a retail store or something and tried to get it done there. But that's not what I did. That's not what I decided to do. That's not the road that I took. And I'm happy about it. I'm happy with my choice. And I was very, very pleased when I came back up. Jess was blown away. Jess was absolutely amazed that I'd gotten that done. So it's always good to learn things, especially when you're a homeowner. I know how to put up lights. I know how to add cameras to a home studio. I know how to take tags off of shirts. This is only the beginning. Can I change a tire? No. But I can get a tag off a shirt. If you give me an hour and a half, I'll get it off for you. No problem. And I wonder if the ink stuff really does spray everywhere. I wonder if that really happens. Because, I mean, it didn't spray. Although I did see on the other side of the thing, you can see the blue and the yellow ink in it. So I don't know what Jess did with the tag. I left it on the kitchen counter and went to bed after that. But point is, the job got done. When the last professional broadcaster looks to get the job done, the job is going to get done. A regular handyman, says Dingus Khan. Yes, that's exactly what I am. A regular handyman. So not Samsonites, if you ever find yourself in a pickle, that's exactly what you got to do. Pop that sucker right off. It's so frustrating when people do stuff like that, when they leave those tags on. Plus, the alarm didn't go off when I left the store. And clearly, I didn't even notice the tag was there from the beginning. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left the store with the tag on. So I don't know why you invest all that money in those tags if they're not going to set the alarm off anyway. But whatever. Whatever, man. All right. I think we're going to wrap up here. There's other stuff to, this boycott Starbucks thing, all this Billy Mitchell stuff. Still more stuff to get into. I want to talk about PUBG and Fortnite. I did an interview. That's a tease. I did an interview with AJ Styles that'll be up at youtube.com/notsam. And we talked about whether he played Fortnite or PUBG. Maybe I'll play Fortnite tonight at some point. I haven't played Fortnite yet, but I'm not this big gamer type, but I just don't understand how anybody would play that instead of PUBG. It seems crazy to me. Fortnite seems like a little kid's game, but whatever. We'll talk about that as we continue on with Sam Roberts Now. Please do me a favor and make sure you subscribe to the Sam Roberts Now YouTube channel. If you're watching live, it's this channel that you're watching right now, youtube.com/Sam Roberts Now. Subscribe and turn your notifications on. A ton of you guys subscribe. We're up, what do we got, like 2,000 subscribers or something like that? Out of nowhere, when we first had to move the live show over to this channel, I was really happy that many of you followed. Hopefully a bunch of you more. Don't forget to tell the folks that you know about this, and subscribe and turn your notifications on for Sam Roberts Now on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sam Roberts Now, because this thing just pops on when this thing pops on. Right now, we may have a guest. I would imagine that I will be live on Monday. Since we won't be on Sirius, I'll have the day. I'll probably end up talking to you guys for a little bit because I'll be here. We may have a guest. It's a guest that I'm very, very excited about. Maybe. I don't want to hype. We might have an actor in studio. We might have an actor that I think will resonate with you guys in a big, big way. Okay? That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. I don't want to tell you who it is. I would go over the, what's it called? The Super Chats, but we don't have Super Chat yet because this is a new YouTube channel and the monetization is still pending. But we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. I promise you that. All right, guys. This has been another episode of Sam Roberts Now. If you want to find the archive, all the shows that we've done in full, they're all over at the Not Sam YouTube channel. I'll have clips over here on this channel. I will still be uploading full shows over on the Not Sam channel, but it's after it happens live. So I guess you can subscribe to both channels if you really want to. All the wrestling interviews that I did at WrestleMania will all go up over at the Not Sam YouTube channel. That's where the wrestling podcast goes. That's where all that stuff goes. Until YouTube decides to shut the thing down because it's just too big. But guess what, guys? I already got my plaque. My plaque's there in a physical form. You can never take that back, and it's going to be sitting there shining for the rest of your days. Understand? Good. I knew that you would. Guys, I appreciate all of you that are saying nice things. I don't like any of you saying mean things, and I want you to remember something. You got 5 styluses. You might as well use them. Have a good night, a great rest of the weekend, and I will see you next time that Sam Roberts is now, right? right.